Hello and welcome to this Photoshop tutorial. Today I'll talk about smart objects. How do we use smart objects in Photoshop and what are its real advantage. So let's get started. I'm going to make a small text here. Let's come back to my text tool and I'm going to type in the word object. For instance, I'm going to make this a real bold font so that you can really see how it's really used. So I'll make that on 250. Okay, once you have that done, I'm going to leave the text here, which is default. I'm going to change this text to a rasterized text. What basically a rasterize is, you just right click and click on rasterize. It completely disables the editing functionality. If it's a text, it won't be there if it's an object. So in case you're importing a design from Illustrator, which would be a smart object, if you rasterize it, then you lose all the data which is there in that, leaving the actual size. So if the size is this by default, you would have this much data saved in a smart object, but if you rasterize it, you lose all that data which is saved. So I'll show you that in a moment. So let's say this is my text here and I'm going to rasterize this text. So right click, rasterize, and now what happens is if I expand the size of this, Ctrl T to transform, and I increase the size of this text and press enter to apply, you'd see if you resume 100%, you have lost some amount of data in the corner. It's kind of blurry if you see on the edges. Okay, let's undo that. At this point it's not really, because this is 100% and it was typed in this size. So let's convert this object to a smart object. So to do that, you just right click on the layer and click on convert to smart object, or you could go to select, it's right here, convert to smart filters. So basically both mean the same thing, which you see a small icon at this point, which make that a big, you see a small icon here on this layer here, which makes it tell you that it's a smart object. Okay, once you have that done, I'm going to make that size back small there, zoom back here, and I'm going to make another copy of the word object here, this text, and for the copy I'm going to rasterize that so it removes the smart object again. So now let's see what our smart object is really useful in. Now I'm going to make the size of this text a bit smaller. Now apply that, and I'm going to make our rasterized text a bit smaller too. Okay, once you've applied that, let's size up our rasterized text again to how it was before, and you'd see we have lost a lot of data here, making the whole text completely blurry and basically unreadable if it was a small size text. And let's resize our smart object text here to back to what it was, and you'd see the difference between both, where our smart object really keeps its data saved from the original size. So if you really increase that size to a bigger size, which it wasn't, it also would lose the data. So make sure you rasterize, and not really rasterize your text which you really want. Okay, another good option in smart objects is, I'm going to just undo all that. Okay, keep our rasterized text side here. I'm going to bring our original smart object, I'm going to resize that in a size so we can see. I'm going to make 3 copies of my smart object, and I'm going to edit this smart object. To edit it is simply just double click on the thumbnail right here. Just double clicking that, it tells you that it's going to save, open up, and you need to save it if you want to apply the changes. Once you've done that, I'm going to add a change on this. So I'm just going to zoom this back here. It's coming around 50%. Okay, and you see that these 3 here are smart objects as I made copies of them. I'm going to edit this text here, which you see is in the format extension of a PSB, and make a new layer. I'm going to just add a simple color effect on this, so just a red there, and I'm going to hold on Alt in between the 2 layers just to mask that in the shape of the back layer, and I'm gonna just save that. So Control S to save, and you'd see all our three smart objects have been applied with that same change. It's really useful in many positions of use in case you're using a same design over your whole document and you just want to change because you're making a duplicate. You can't really go and edit and duplicate again and again the same object, so it's really hard. The smart object really helps us in editing multiple times, and if you've done it in Photoshop from your Illustrator loading it, you could edit it in your Illustrator and it would save it all back in your Photoshop. So I hope you learned something from this, and it comes really handy in your daily use of Photoshop. Thank you for watching, and see you in the next video.